we venture back to the land of Saga for another rebranded title. Similarly to the first one, this one isn't strictly Final Fantasy canon, but then what can be considered canon in a series that spans so many different areas and eras? In Final Fantasy Legend 2, a lot of the great aspects that made the first one unique have been retained and polished, and some of the more annoying features taken out. Revisit the first review to remind yourself of what I mean. So, you create your team of 4 heroes like before, but now, in addition to the humans and mutants, you can also choose dragons, slime, imps, and robots. The robots' selling point is that their weapons are replenished when you visit an inn, so there's no constant purchasing and swapping in and out of arms. It's almost as if the inclusion of this character was in a direct response to fan feedback about one of the more irritating things about the first game. Some of the older races have been tweaked a bit. Before, you had to buy XP for the humans, but now the randomness mechanic that mutants used applies to all characters. The leveling up system is still not, visibly at least, numerical. There's no way to find out how many experience points you need to reach the next level, but seriously, try not to think about that too much. Keep on fighting through those creatures, and eventually new attributes and skills will be attained. The game is somewhat easier, though. Final Fantasy Legend 2 is a generous game in that, should a character fall in battle, they don't need to be revived at a church or anything like that. They're rejuvenated after the fight with 1 HP, and you can give them cures and so on to replenish their health. A real noticeable improvement, which I suppose could be put down to developer experience, is the overall imagery of the game. Where the first one suffered a tad from blocky and bland backgrounds, the sequel looks much better. The screen wipe transitions between scenes are delightful, and the attention to detail in the settings and characters is certainly an improvement. Musically, the game is still top-notch, with some familiar motifs from the first game coming through. Nobuo Uematsu is possibly the most renowned composer working around this time and through the 90s. Whereas a lot of composers were essentially jobbers who didn't get nearly the level of recognition they deserved, Uematsu certainly did, and does. A compelling and truly involving storyline, coupled with the replayability factor of choosing a different squad of heroes each time, makes for a truly brilliant RPG. Sure, it's not strictly a Final Fantasy title, but it's similar enough to pass off without too much of a stretch. I like to interpret these Legend games, or Saga, whatever you prefer, as stories that could have been regaled to rapt audiences by a glee man in a tavern somewhere in the Final Fantasy universe. Not exactly canon, but sharing lore and atmosphere, and a legitimate cousin to the main series. If you play only one out of this trilogy, make it this one. It's a polished and honed, sharp as a sword version of the first game, improving virtually every aspect of what was already very good. You absolutely need Final Fantasy Legend 2. Thanks so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on the game down below, and if you can spare a second, give the review a quick thumbs up, it really helps out. Subscribe to the Portable Power Podcast for a new Game Boy review every day from Monday to Friday. Or alternately, new episodes of the podcast drop every Saturday and Sunday on whichever platform you get your pods. See you later on.